Hello and welcome to another episode of Josh Faces Adventures in Consumer Capitalism. Hopefully a little quick one, but I'm very passionate about soft drinks and the flavors of soft drinks. So I'm going to do a couple tier lists because they're fun and I like talking about my opinions because of course I do. I'm a white guy in his 20s. I went through other tier lists on Tier List Maker or whatever that website is, and I couldn't find one that sort of definitively had all the flavors of Coke and Cola that I wanted to talk about. So I ended up making my own in a little Google document here. So yeah, fresh in quotes off of my last episode where I talked about the new Movement Cola, which is pretty good. I want to talk about the other colas that are out there, and I want to rank them because I've thought about doing this for a long time. So it's fine. It's time to get down to business, and it's time to do it. I'm going to start with the Movement Cola because I like it. It's a Coke Zero. It's a Coke Zero flavor, and it's a limited edition one, so I don't think I'll be seeing much of it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in A tier because I like it. It's good. It tastes like toffee popcorn and Coca-Cola, and mixed together, it's just a good time. I'm enjoying it. I've been sipping on it for a little while now, and yeah, it's a good time. So at the top of I've skipped ahead a little bit. At the top of the list is OG full fat Coca-Cola from a can. Now, I mentioned that because the next couple ones are the different ways in which you can get OG Coca-Cola. In the next few, I'm going to be talking about OG Coca-Cola, but I'm going to be talking about the different formats in which it is delivered unto you. So, original OG Coca-Cola from a can is pretty darn good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in A tier. It's classic. And it's got sugar in it, which I'll talk about later. And Coca-Cola from a bottle, in my opinion, not as good. Not as good, but it's still OG Coke, which, you know what? Do I put it in B tier? No, I'm still going to put it in A tier because it's still OG Coke, which is good. I enjoy it. Coca-Cola from a glass. It's real good. I'm going to put it, you know what? I'm going to put it ahead of all the above. I'm going to put this, I might put it ahead of OG Coke, you know? I like it. I really like it. Oh God, the thing about making your own tier list maker is that it's hard to do things like this. Okay, yeah. Coca-Cola from a glass tastes better than Coca-Cola from a can and from a bottle. Facts. I don't know what to tell you. Coke from a dispenser. Now, usually this is like a syrup that they put in and is carbonated on the way out. So like it's diluted in different ways. Now, if you get a good one, oh my God, is it good? Oh my God, is it really, really good with it, with the ice in there and with the slice, lemon or lime, better with lime. I'm going to go ahead and talk about I'm going to put this in S tier, and I'm going to talk about the best case scenario, which is you get really syrupy Coca-Cola with ice and a slice of lime. It's unbeatable. It's really, really good. I had it recently, went to a venue, and they gave us like really syrupy cola, which tasted really limey, and it was exactly what I needed. It was so refreshing, so delicious. I couldn't get enough of it. Real good. Now that's on tap. The next thing I'm talking about is from one of those dispensers. You'll see them at like Subway. I can't think of another place where you see them, but there's a picture of them here. You know what I'm talking about, where you get the cup, you press it up against the machine, and it dispenses into the cup. Like, it's not being done for you. You are doing the dispensing. pretty good. Pretty good still. This is one of the worst ways in which to get it, because it can get pretty messy pretty quickly. And I feel like I'm doing the work. I don't much enjoy that. I'm still going to put it in A tier because it's OG Coca-Cola. From here on in, I'm not talking about OG full-fat Coca-Cola. I'm going to be moving on to the other flavors. Coca-Cola Cherry's next up on the list. That is S tier. If given the choice between normal Coke and Coke Cherry, it's Coke Cherry every time. It's so good. It's really great. You can get Coke Lime as well. I think you could, like full fat Coke Lime. Maybe they've discontinued that, but I haven't seen it in the wild for a while now. Next up on the list is the American Coca-Cola Vanilla. And we used to have, in the UK, Coca-Cola Vanilla, full fat Coca-Cola Vanilla. I think it was 2014. I should have looked this up before the video, but I think it was 2014. They introduced a sugar levy, a tax on sugar. That changed the flavors of Coca-Cola. So yeah, in this picture, this is the American Coke Vanilla. That's way up in S tier. Again, if given the choice between normal Coke and vanilla Coke, it's vanilla Coke every time. For a while, I actually resorted to putting a vanilla extract in full fat Coca-Cola just to get that taste again. I do miss it, because what we have now, actually I'm going to skip ahead on this list. I'm going to skip ahead to what we have now in this country, in the UK. We have Coke Zero Vanilla. And it's not the same, people. It is not the same. Coke Zero has zero sugar in it. And what they've replaced the sugar with is aspartame, or in the case of Coke Life, sucralose. So with Coke Zero, with aspartame, doesn't taste as good, tastes really chemically, don't like it. Coke Zero Vanilla is still better than Coke Zero. So I'm going to put that in B tier. Oh, actually, was that? Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, this is vanilla Coke Zero. Yeah, B tier. Normal Coke Zero, C tier. It's bad, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst offender. If given the choice between normal Coke and Coke Zero, normal Coke every time, easy. If given the choice between vanilla Coke Zero and normal Coke Zero, it's vanilla every time. And same goes for cherry. Cherry's up there with vanilla. You got the vanilla and cherry versions of whatever range are always going to be better. That's facts. Next up on the list is Coke Zero Zero Caffeine. At this point, we're getting further and further away. We're getting more and more diluted from the OG. I don't think I've ever had it. I've had something similar, which I'll get to, but I don't think I've ever had this, and I don't think I ever want to. Because part of the appeal for me for Coca-Cola is the sugar and caffeine. So I'm not sure why I would ever go out of my way to avoid those things. Next up on the list is Diet Coke, the OG Diet Coke. Some people live and breathe this stuff. Personally, I can't stand it. It is not good. It tastes really chemically, and yeah, don't like it. Not good. And then also under Diet Coke, you got Diet Coke no caffeine. So already really far removed from OG Coke. I have had this. This is diabolical. I couldn't finish it. Really, really bad. That is D tier. That is low tier. If I had a tier below this, it would be that. It's just diabolical, real bad. Next up is Twisted Strawberry Diet Coke, which I've never had, but I'm intrigued by. I feel like if I did have it, it would be C tier. It would be above regular Diet Coke, because strawberry flavored stuff is good. But yeah, that's new to me. When looking up Cokes for this video, yeah, that and Sublime Lime were Diet Coke flavors I've never heard of. I don't think I've seen them. But apparently they're available in this country. Haven't seen them though. I mentioned it earlier, Coke Life, which has sucralose instead of the usual sugar. I don't think they sell it anymore. But for a while, I had it and I quite liked it. It was pretty good. I'm going to put it in B tier with the zero sugar Coke Cherry and Coke Vanillas. It was all right, you know. I prefer it over a Coke Zero. And yeah, it doesn't touch the OG. But it was all right, you know. Next up on the list is OG Dr. Pepper. Praise be to that doctor. I doubt he has a medical license, but that is S tier. Dr. Pepper is the best. Like, of everything on this list, and of everything to come, I think, Dr. Pepper, the OG Dr. Pepper, S tier, SS tier, number 1, gold star. It's so good. So sweet. Next up is Dr. Pepper Zero. Garbage. You know, it still tastes like Dr. Pepper, so I nearly put it in D tier, but I'm going to put it in C, along with Coke Zero, because, like, you got, the taste is there. You got the tang of Dr. Pepper that you know and love, but it's just not as good. So, yeah, fuck it. C tier. Next up is Dr. Pepper Cream Soda. This is something that is not available in the UK. It has to be imported. And I like cream soda. I fuck with the cream soda. And I love Dr. Pepper. And you would think combining the two would be real good. And it's pretty good. You know, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in A. But you know, it doesn't beat the OG. Which I'm surprised at, because, you know, vanilla Coke is better than regular Coke. So by that logic, a vanilla-y kind of cream soda, like a sweeter kind of Dr. Pepper, should be better than the OG Dr. Pepper. But it isn't. I couldn't tell you why. And again, Dr. Pepper Cherry, something that's not available in this country. Again, you have to get it imported. Cherry Coke, better than regular Coke. Cherry Dr. Pepper, not as good. In fact, I'm going to put it even lower in B tier, because I remember when last Dr. Pepper Cherry I had, I didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't a good time. And I felt so betrayed, you know? Really unfortunate. Next up on the list is Dr. Pepper. Is that cherry vanilla? Okay, so, yeah. Cherry version of the OG Coke is better. Cherry and vanilla versions of the OG flavors are better. So cherry and vanilla together with the OG should be better than its original. It isn't. They keep trying to fuck with Dr. Pepper, and they keep fucking it up. It keeps not being as good. Again, it's better than a Dr. Pepper Zero. It's better than a Coke Zero. And it's a way better than Diet Coke. Fuck Diet Coke. I've done this in a weird order, but next up on the list is OG Pepsi. Now, an OG Pepsi is fine. You know? It's all right. It's not as good as Coca-Cola. So I'm going to put it in B tier. You know, it's all right. It's okay. Diet Pepsi, same with Diet Coke. Garbage. Absolute, just trash. Avoid at all costs. Next we get into Pepsi Max, which doesn't have sugar in it. That's the Coke Zero. I'm going to put it in the same, like, C tier. Across the board, we got the zero sugars. You know, Coke Zero, Dr. Pepper Zero, Pepsi Max. They're low tier, but they're fine. You know, if there's, it's the best of a bad batch, you know. Now, again, I'm going to do all three of these together because these are all the flavored Pepsi Maxes. You got raspberry, cherry, and lime. And this follows the formula of being better than the originals. Because again, these are Pepsi Maxes, so there's no sugar in them, but they're flavored. So yeah, they're better than Pepsi Max because they're flavored, but they're not better than just standard Pepsi. Hot take. Next up on the list is Fentimans Curiosity Cola. I don't think this is a thing outside of the UK. It might not even be a thing outside of England. But this is a kind of like more herbally and medicinal kind of flavored cola. I don't fuck with it. It's not good. It's still better than Diet Coke. So yeah, I'm going to put it in C tier there. And also, I've put the Fentimans one here, but this applies to all Dandelion and Burdock. I don't know if it's a cola. I don't know what, but it's the same color as cola, so I've included it here. But across the board, Dandelion and Burdock, shit, hate it. Just cannot get along with it. Putting it in D tier, fuck you, don't care. Get out of my sight. If given the option, I will have water. I will just avoid it. If it's Dandelion and Burdock and no water, then I will just be parched. Fuck it. Do not care for it. Fentimans Cherry Cola. This is good. I've been having more and more of it recently, and the more I have of it, the more I've been like going off of it. It's still real good. It tastes better flat than it does when it's carbonated, which I've noticed, which is a little odd. But it's still real fucking good. I'm going to put it as a high A. If there was an A+, it'd be there. It doesn't, I'm going to, a little higher up. It's touching S tier, it's touching it. If you spoke to me a couple months back, I'd be like, oh yeah, Fentimans Cherry Cola, S tier. Because it's real good. Love a cherry cola. You got the OG cherry cola up here, actually. Oh, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm going to put it S tier because it's as good as the Coca-Cola cherry. I prefer it. I prefer it to Coke cherry, the Fentimans cherry cola. It's real good. I enjoy it. It's not as good as a Dr. Pepper. And it's not as good as a Coke vanilla. And it's also not as good as a real good OG Coke from the tap. Finally on this list, I've put Bars Cola here, but this is representing off-brand colas across the board, which are okay. I'm gonna put it with the other C tier stuff. Just having a once over, looking at everything. So yeah, never had these ones down here. Don't much care to because they're Coke Zeros and Diet Cokes. So who cares? For me, I go in for the caffeine and for the sugar. If I'm going to have Coke, I'm going all out. Next up in D tier, Dandelion and Burdock, garbage. Fucking hate it. Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, hate the stuff. And yeah, Diet Coke, no caffeine. There should be like an extra tier of just like this. This deserves to burn in hell. The no caffeine stuff is absolute garbage. Yeah, this is looking good. A lot of B tier stuff. Yeah, Pepsi and Pepsi Max. I've put Pepsi Max flavored stuff alongside Pepsi. No, I believe that. Yeah, no, I can stick with this. I can't believe how high I've put this Movement Coca-Cola. I do like it. It's good fun. Perfect moment to say that I am not sponsored at all. If given the option, I would like to avoid all the above. Because Coca-Cola are not an ethical company. Neither are Pepsi. Fentimans are all right. and Bar are independent, but there are still more better and more ethical options out there. There's no ethical consumerism under late stage capitalism, but we do our best. So yeah, that's how I feel about Coca-Colas, and this is my preference. I'm gonna make because this is all in a Google drawing, so you can make your own if you'd like. This won't be on the tier list maker, but I'll leave a copy of this like unfucked with in the description, so you can make your own tier list. And yeah, share it with me. Tell me what you think. Am I wrong? The answer is no. All of this is subjective. Everyone has different taste buds. If you like this stuff, if you like what I do, consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/joshface. Support me and my music making endeavors as well. Sorry for hitting the microphone so much, but yeah, I'll be back with more corporate garbage.